So the question is, what did I learn in globalization at work in tech? I learned what globalization is. Globalization is a concept that seeks to identify and unify the increasing complexity within modern society. So in order to understand globalization, it needs context. To give context to it, there are three elements, neither proceed nor follow from the others, and in fact they feed off each other. The first element that helps to bring about globalization as we know it today is industrialization. Industrialization happened mid-19th century, helped to produce goods like we've never seen it, helped to increase the economy like our country and also the world has never seen before. Second is technology. Technology, once again, it came right alongside industrialization, helped to improve the efficiency of production, it helped our economy. And then thirdly, there's increasing transborder connections. Globalization has increased transborder connections through things like the WTO, international building codes, and even NATO. So those are just some examples, but I mean you could see where governing bodies or standards like these help to unify the world in a way that had never been seen prior. So there's some framework that underlies what globalization is, and the framework is there are theories that act as lenses or filters to understanding globalization, and each one draws itself out within different contexts. So the most popular, I would say, is liberalism. Liberalism seeks to identify globalization through the lens of advancements in technology, institutions, and also free market economy. So the person who would embody liberalism is Milton Friedman, the economist. And secondly, there's political realism. Political realism is another theory that seeks to understand globalization through the lens of state power and hegemony. So you can think of the USSR, you can think of the United States, you can think of how they dominate, and then how they battle out with each other. Also, you can think of their interaction with third world countries. Thirdly, there's Marxism. So Marxism is, it understands globalization through the lens of class struggle exposed by capitalism. This typically pulls itself out within the context of international labor. Also, feminism is another one that pulls itself out in the context of international labor, calling for women's rights and things like that. And then also there's the idealist framework that understands globalization. The two idealist frameworks, there's constructivism, which views globalization through the lens of social construction, social norms, social identity. All these things are all intangibles. So, you could think of like online communities. Reddit is an example of an online community that seeks as a platform that acts as a social construction where people can engage with people who they've never even met before. And then there's also the postmodern framework where globalization is viewed as an imperialist knowledge structure, or it acts through the lens of imperialist knowledge structures. So you can think of management structures and how they're implemented throughout the world when companies expand and increase their production. So the bottom line is what does globalization mean? Well, globalization for companies and people and government, I think they all mean the same. It all means the same thing. So first of all, globalization means increasing opportunity. We have the internet, we have the airplane, we have the automobile, we have the Panama Canal. There's increasing mobility, decreasing friction, and there's opportunity like the world has never seen before. Not just transportation, but also cash flow. And so globalization ultimately means opportunity, but with opportunity also comes risk. So globalization produces risk because there's technology involved, and when there's technology involved, there's increasing costs, but then also the bottom can often fall out when technology involves itself, when the technology fails. So with globalization, there's increasing risk, there's increasing opportunity, but then also there's a responsibility for people, for governments, and for businesses. So ultimately, it comes down to responsibility for these three people, or these three things: the people, the governments, and businesses, to promote economic and civil justice. So that's what I learned in globalization, and I think it really gives me a clear understanding of what's happening around the world, but then also how to engage with other people and their ideas of how they see what is actually happening within the world.